Casey Hendrickson from the Mid-States Construction Studio. Mid-States Construction, one of the nation's leading authorized builders of new core building systems. On News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. What, Tim? He's reading an article about how Kevin Benjamin, the wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, is being fat-shamed. Of course, the breaking news, since we're your official Chicago Bears radio station here in Michiana, Chicago Bears signed Victor Cruz to a one-year contract today from the New York Giants. So what was it that you were trying to say there in the last minute because my headphones ran? I couldn't hear you.
I was just telling you I was triggered.
Well, you should be triggered.
Fat-shaming this guy.
Kevin Benjamin wants to become a big wide receiver. Let the man become a big wide receiver. He likes his burritos. Let the man enjoy his burritos. Not everybody wants to be thin. And you know what? He's comfortable enough in his skill set that he can show up to camp a little overweight, a little chunky, because he likes the burritos. Now, of course, we all like burritos, right? Producer Tip?
I like burritos.
I love burritos.
I can't speak for everyone else, though.
I can. We all love burritos. Like, I have not met anybody who doesn't like burritos. Like, everybody likes burritos, right? All of you out there in the audience likes burritos. Now, we might like different varieties. Some might like shredded beef or shredded chicken. Some might like normal chicken, normal beef. Some just might like bean and cheese. I don't know. Some might like egg or whatever. But, you know, everybody likes a burrito. Why? Because it's a burrito and everybody loves it. It's like fried chicken. Everybody loves fried chicken. Every time somebody makes an accusation against fried chicken or about fried chicken being racist, you got to remind everybody that, dude, 100% of the population loves fried chicken. Like, fried chicken is one of the world's great foods. We all know this. We all understand this. So burritos are kind of like there. You know, it's like fried chicken, tacos, and then like burritos, like right below tacos, right? It's just like right below it. Well, not everybody likes burritos, Tim. Okay, let me clarify. Not everybody likes burritos made by pasty white women, even if the burritos are amazing. So I don't know how many of you have been following this story online. I'm like 2 days late getting to it. A pair of women on an impromptu road trip to Mexico last year fell in love with meals punctuated by amazing handmade tortillas. And they tried to figure out how they were created. You know, like literally everybody who goes anywhere and eats anything tries to do. You eat it and you go, I have to have this recipe, right? There's whole websites devoted to giving you recipes for free that are used in major restaurants. Like if you go to some of these websites, like if you find a dish at a restaurant that you like, so you go to Applebee's or something, you're like, I really love this dish. You can hop online. There are websites that have recipes that will duplicate that dish at home for you, or at least get it really close. People want to recreate food that they love. So these women go to Mexico. They enjoy this amazing food because real Mexican food is, Tim, right? Because you've finally been awakened to real Mexican food here recently. Real Mexican food is glorious. That's why we endorse Monterey Mexican Grill. So anyway, this lady says, I picked the brains of every tortilla lady there in the worst broken Spanish ever, and they showed me a little of what they did. So that's Liz. Now, she is talking to the Willamette Week, okay? They told us the basic ingredients, and we saw them moving and stretching the dough similar to how pizza makers do before rolling it out with rolling pins. They wouldn't tell us too much about the technique, but we were peeking into the windows of every kitchen, totally fascinated by how easy they made it look. We learned quickly it isn't quite that easy. All right, so they're in Mexico. They fall in love with the food. How do we make this? We've got to figure out how to make this. We can't get this back home. We've got to make this, right? I don't know where they're exactly from, but they're in Oregon. Okay, they're in Oregon. Yeah, Mexican food's lacking in Oregon. So they fall in love with real Mexican food. They're trying to figure out how they actually do it. They're asking the people who make it, how do you do this? And they're giving them some tips, but they're not sharing everything, right? So everybody's got to have a little secret on how they do stuff. Now, on their drive home to Portland, Oregon, People's Republic, Connolly and Callie Wilgus, who are pasty white ladies, decided that they should work at the craft themselves and then open up an eatery in town. So, pretty soon, Kook's Burritos was born. So they go to Mexico, they enjoy the food, they learn the techniques, and then they open a restaurant. Tim, do you know who else does this? Any idea?
Entrepreneurial people who enjoy cooking. I mean, like anyone, everyone.
Literally every chef in the world does this. Literally every chef in the world does this. Gordon Ramsay has an entire television series on him traveling to foreign lands to learn how to make stuff so he can put it in his restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Inspiration.
This is how every top chef in the world functions. You can't learn to make food if you don't go to the place where they make it and learn how to make it from those people. How many times do we have a pizzeria open up? I learned how to make pizza in New York, or I went to Italy and learned how to make pizza, right? They do that because those are the techniques that they want to duplicate in their restaurant. That's the whole point. This has literally been happening for the entirety of human civilization, and nobody up until this point has been mad about it. No one. But this is Portland, Oregon, Tim.
Yeah.
This is the same state that made gay marriage illegal, but forced a bakery to participate in the wedding. Just want to remind everybody about that. So Connolly and Wiggis carved out a spot for themselves in a food cart. They rolled out tortillas right in front of customers. They cooked them on a griddle and then wrapped them around eggs, guacamole, cheese, and your choice of neon green serrano salsa or neon orange chile de arbol salsa. Probably butchered that. Now, all of this sounds amazing. You got these people rolling these out right in front of you, making them from scratch, okay? This is something you never see in Oregon. If you want to see it, you got to go to Mexico, or you got to go to some place where they do this. But you don't see this in Oregon. I got news for you. A tiny little cart that serves food is not competing with the poor third world people of rural Mexico. They're not in direct competition with one another, folks. So anyway, the article says, sounds like a little fun eatery you might like to sample someday. Yes? Well, you're too late. Kook's Burritos is closed. Closed down. Yeah, producer Tim making the teary-eye. The shuttering happened just a few days after the Willamette Weeks story hit the internet. And along with the rapid-fire closure, the owners deleted much of Kook's Burritos' online presence, according to Portland's Eater. Why, you ask? Well, getting this from the Blaze, by the way. It's worth noting that some folks were none too pleased with Kook's once they learned the story behind its birth. Hashtag polite white supremacy a la Portland. Really? I am waiting for the protests at all Gordon Ramsay restaurants to commence. I'll just sit here patiently. Like I said, he's got a whole television series about him going to foreign countries and doing this. Isn't that other nerd on the Travel Channel? What's his name? Why am I drawing a blank? A real jerk.
Anthony Bourdain.
Yes. Everybody hates this guy's guts.
Did I really get it?
Yeah, Anthony Bourdain. Yes. I mean, this guy does it too. Now, he's like a food critic. I don't think he's a chef, and by the way, everybody that I know that knows him hates his guts. Like, he is the biggest jerk from what I am told. I've never met the man, but he sounds like a jerk. So I'm waiting for everybody to start protesting and demanding that their shows get canceled and that their restaurants get closed down and that they never show their face on camera eating a non-white person's food ever again. And I'm just sitting here. You know what? The only thing I could think of when I was reading this story, Producer Tim, I kept going back to the guy who bought Eddie's Steak Shed. The guy who's been deported now and he's in the legal battle to come back in because he's Hispanic. He's from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can think of is steak's not Mexican. Now, some steak is Mexican. They obviously eat steak, but the way that it's made at Eddie's Steak Shed is not traditional Mexican preparation. So all I could think of is, so a Mexican guy is not allowed to own a steak shop then, because that's cultural appropriation of a European culture, right? Do you know how many Asian restaurants are run by Hispanics? Tons. Are they culturally appropriating Asian culture because they're running an Asian restaurant? Or are they just making good food?
And that doesn't even account for all of the, say, specifically Japanese restaurants that are owned and run by Koreans or Chinese people.
Not run by Japanese people. Tons of them. Mm-hmm. There is a restaurant chain called Pickup Sticks. Have you ever heard of Pickup Sticks? I don't think they have them around here.
No, never even.
Okay, so Pickup Sticks is like the biggest like weirdness in food for me. Okay, they make very good food. I'm not a regular over there, but my family absolutely loves them. So Pickup Sticks is a Chinese restaurant, and it's kind of like a fusion good food fast sort of a restaurant. Not fast food, but like a good food fast. And they do very good stuff, very fresh food, but they don't serve pork. Now, if you are a fan of Chinese food, the absence of pork is odd, okay? Do you know why they don't serve pork, Producer Tim?
They're religious reasons?
They're Jewish.
Yeah.
The owners of Pickup Sticks are Jewish, and so they don't have any pork products on their menu. So these Jewish people run a really good Asian fusion restaurant. That's cultural appropriation according to Portland, Oregon now. You have any idea how many businesses would have to be shut down as a result of all of this? It's El Pollo Loco. Like, how can El Pollo Loco even exist? So many things wrong with this. But anyway, again, this is the logic of an insane person, right? So Cook's Burritos closed amid the online outrage. Less than 6 months, they had managed to build a business, and depending on how you look at it, their methods are either genius or the latest example of white folks profiting off of the labor of people of color. Again, this is literally how every chef on the planet operates. Every single one. It's absolutely, it is amazing. We are not safe in anything that we do now. They took a trip to Mexico, fell in love with the food, one technique in particular, started asking for help, voluntarily were given help on how to make this food, and decided to open a business somewhere far away, not in direct competition with the people who graciously passed on their knowledge. It is just it's mind-numbing is what it is. It's not mind-boggling, mind-numbing. That's the phrase I'm looking for. This is about stealing aspects of a culture without credit and laughing about it like the two little idiotic privileged white girls they are, said one person. Just... There are a lot of places in this country and throughout the world where there aren't a lot of people who are of non-traditional American, traditional European type. So I guess in communities like that, I guess some could say some communities in Michiana would be like that. I guess for those communities, you're out of luck when it comes to having a diverse food base over there for you to go ahead and choose from. You like Chinese food, but, there's no Asians around? Too bad. You can't open a Chinese restaurant. You're out of luck. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Producer Tim, screening your phone calls, taking your traffic updates. We'll take your phone calls on this stupidness involving this burrito food cart in Portland, Oregon. Stay weird, Portland. Producer Tim's got some traffic updates for everybody. Tim, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. The one we mentioned earlier, State Road 19 and Indiana Avenue. There's an accident there that's causing the southbound traffic to be backed up. And then there's another accident northbound about a quarter mile away from that. And so State Road 19 is pretty messed up right now, anywhere in between Indiana Avenue and Old 33 Lincoln Way. It's backed up both north and south, and it's getting worse.
And again, separate incidents, both north and southbound.
Yes.
And multiple people calling in and going, yeah, we got another one on that.
Yes, and
so,
and from what we were told earlier to what we're told now, it is getting worse.
Yeah, it's not looking pleasant. So avoid State Road 19 over there if you can. If you see anything else, please let us know. 574-2595-95-3. That is 2595-953. Somebody sent a text message and said, I must be on an island by myself because I hate fried chicken. Well, the first thing I would do is seek medical help because it's a good chance you're dead. I don't know. I'm praying for you. I really am. All right, 574-2595-95-3. Talking about these two women who took a nice little trip to Mexico and fell in love with the way that tortillas and these burritos were being made. And so they kept eating them, and they decided to start asking some of the people, how do you do this? And some of those people graciously shared their knowledge with these two ladies. Not everything, but a little bit. And then they came back to Portland, Oregon. They decided to open up a little food cart. And they made these burritos in front of everybody. And what ended up happening is they did this great article. Somebody's like, oh, hey, this is really good food. Can I interview you? The place is called Kook's Burritos. And they did the interview, and then a bunch of snowflakes went up there and started saying that these two women were practicing white supremacy and culturally appropriating Hispanics and stealing their labor. And again, I just want to point out that literally every chef in the world does this. I mean, all of those Michelin chefs that you know about, right? They travel the world to find recipes, techniques, ingredients, so they can add them to their own recipes and make their own food in their own restaurants. That's exactly how running a restaurant and coming up with these recipes works. This is exactly how it is. Whole reality television shows devoted to this. But no, these two white ladies, oh man, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. All they want to do is make a good burrito. Anyway, 574-2595-95-3. Ted, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, what's up?
Disturbing you. I was in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
I was auditing over there, and I asked my advisor from Loyola to have a lunch with me at a Romanian restaurant to eat a goulash.
Okay.
I cooked since I was 11 years old. I ate over there with him, and he asked me how it is. I said, sir, it's good.
Yeah.
But it's not the perfect one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I cook, and I know how it is.
Okay.
Now, the problem is, doesn't matter how much you learn from the books. It's how you put the things in. I show my ex-mother-in-law how to make a goulash, and when she finished it, she said, no, my goulash was worse than that. No, you have to... No, you have to know the ingredients, the timing, and each one has a different taste to it.
But I'm sure you turned the table over and marched back there and accused all of the people who made your goulash of cultural appropriation, though, right, Ted?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in catering business, and the best woman I ever saw was Mrs. Vasso. We make good money with that one. I tell you one thing: we paid the church out in Melville, Indiana. Yeah. But I cannot copy her recipe.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Ted, yeah. I appreciate it, bud. Thank you much.
Okay.
All right, you take care.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like I said, there are restaurants that make good food that, it's somebody, you see these kind of like weird restaurants you see sometimes where they kind of mix like Italian food and a different type of food, whether it be like Greek or something else. And it's just like, that doesn't mix. Like, how does that happen? Well, typically it comes from somebody who has a culture. Their culture is one of those types of foods, but they happen to have an appreciation for another type of food. And then they just go ahead and decide to merge them. I mean, how does fusion food factor into cultural appropriation? How does that work? Asian fusion? I mean, are you...
Nope, you just don't.
Are you culturally appropriating European or Asian culture? And which Asian culture are you appropriating? Because they're not all the same, you racists.
You just don't. It's just better off to not have one of those restaurants.
Do you remember me talking about the tale of General Tso's chicken? I mean, you wanted to... Guess what? General Tso's chicken's not Chinese food. It comes from Taiwan. Oh, but Taiwan is China. But it's not. But it is. But it's not. Who are you appropriating? I don't know. Weird, right?
We just don't know.
We just don't know. Frank, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Casey.
What's up, man?
I believe these people that shut down this restaurant, they actually deserve to lose not one, but 2 golden snowflakes off of their chart. And I'm going to explain to you why.
Yeah, we got to get these charts done, dude. We got to go to the art supply store and buy these charts.
Yeah, but right off the jump, okay, just because these women's skin pigment's pretty pale, how do they know they're not identifying that?
Oh, Frank. We're losing him. Hey, Frank, I got to let you go. We're losing you, but at least I got his comment that how do you know that they're not identifying as Hispanic? You're allowed to be a white person and identify as black. Rachel Dolezal and the other guy who's involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, he's out there pretending to be a different race. So, yeah, you can totally pretend to be a different race. That's all they have to say. Hey, look, I identify as Hispanic, therefore I can make this food for everybody.